Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Welcome to the Muslim Athlete Podcast. Welcome to the show. Today we're going to be discussing UFC 311, big fight, Islam, Omar, and their teammate Tiger. Sorry, I butchered the name. Forgot how to pronounce it. Anyways, huge card, huge fight. Super excited about this fight. Cannot wait. Super nervous because those guys, we are fans of Omar, of Islam, of Habib, of that whole team. Man, what do you think? Crazy fight. What do you think?
Crazy card in general. This is, I can't believe it. And I'd say there's about 3 or 4 Muslims that I know of on the card, and big card.
You know them personally?
No, I don't.
Yeah, man, that's gonna be an awesome fight.
But each of those fights, the stakes are huge for each of those Muslim fighters. You have 2 in the main event, co-main in the main, both fighting for titles.
Both fighting for the championship.
Yeah,
both fighting for the titles. Islam, Omar. Wow, this is gonna be incredible. Let's start with the main card. What do you think? But I just want to give my thoughts about, like, when there's a huge card. I mean, there's 2 people, like, I remember when Habib was fighting, and then he had a major fight with Connor or whoever it is. Sometimes you'll get more nervous than the fighter himself.
Yeah.
And I remember when we were watching the fight with Habib, it's like every punch that he was getting hit with, I was getting hit with. So that was pretty funny.
You'd walk out of the the living room injured, huh? Bruises on your face.
Well, this is how this card feels like. This is how this card feels like.
Yeah, some of these cards feel like this way when you're heavily invested into the fighter.
Main event, Islam, Armin. How do you see this playing out?
Highly competitive, and it's going to be a good fight.
Did you see the reverse fight?
Yeah. It was a technical grappling battle between them, back and forth. Mostly Islam had the upper hand. Did you get a chance to watch their fight?
Yeah, I watched it actually a while ago, and it was super technical in terms of the grappling, but Islam was getting better in the exchanges, especially in the clinch. When they were to clinch up, Islam was able to actually, have the upper hand in those situations. And then when they would take it in the ground, it's extremely interesting how Islam would reverse it and then actually work the other way too, where Armin would reverse that and goes back to a reverse and so forth. So I'm not sure if this is going to play out the same way in this fight, but I'm super excited about this fight. Who do you got?
I don't even know. Two very technical fighters, very high level. First, I want to ask, who do you think has the strength advantage?
In terms of strength, I would have to give it to Islam. Islam is strong, man.
Really? Yeah.
Islam is super strong. I mean, you actually ask, let's say his teammates, when they get on, shows and stuff like that, and they talk about it and they talk about his strength. Actually, they say this guy is super, super strong.
Yeah, which goes to show, I mean, Armin, I think, has the more built physique. Just from looking at the 2 of them, you'd think that Armin is a level above Islam in terms of strength.
Yeah, I would have to say, if I were to have a physique and I were to work out and have an incredible physique, Armin has, man, mashallah. Great body.
Mashallah.
May Allah guide him to Islam, inshallah.
Inshallah. Okay, I mean, I guess I'll go back and give more of my take on the fight. So a lot of people, the majority of people are saying, okay, Islam is going to win in every position. The striking, he's going to win a little bit in the ground. He's going to win a little bit in the clinch. And then there's maybe a smaller minority of people saying Armin is going to win. Probably maybe even an all-striking fight. Do you think could result to that?
Well, I think we're going to be surprised. People expect Islam to actually potentially, have the upper hand all the way through. But what I've seen when people expect these fights and then it comes down to it, it seems like the nervous fighter ends up doing better than people actually expect him to do. And we see that time and time again in championship fights and regular fights too. And we could talk about the Umar fight. I have the same feeling about the Umar fight too. But in terms of the striking, Islam is a beast. Islam is next level when it comes to the next
Come
striking.
on. Dustin Poirier, Alexander Volkanovski, Charles Oliveira.
Yeah.
And people before that as well.
Yeah, come on. With Charles Oliveira, he submitted the submitter.
Yeah.
And then you look at Volk. You look at Dustin Poirier. Who strikes with Dustin Poirier? I want to know who's willing to actually come down and strike with Dustin Poirier.
Nobody.
Beast.
Nobody.
You know?
Have a lot of risk when just striking with Dustin Poirier.
Well, breakdowns of fights. When we see breakdowns of fights in Dustin Poirier, it's like, all right, his path to success would be to maybe get Dustin Poirier down and actually grapple him and potentially submit him.
Yeah.
All right. And we seen that in the breakdown with Islam and Dustin Poirier. You know, same thing. He was outstriking him. He was a much cleaner striker and everything. So, guys, Islam striking is next level. He is a striker. You know, knockout power, striking, beautiful, clean, crisp, technical. This is Islam. So I would have to say, when it comes to the striking, gotta give it to Islam.
I agree 100%. Maybe we'd probably both agree to give the clinch, stand-up, grappling exchanges to Islam. What about on the ground?
I think Islam has more ways of submission to be able to actually, because he's always looking for a finish, and he does it time and time again. So if we're talking about who's going to win the grappling exchanges on the ground, I think in the first few rounds, potentially, Armin is going to be able to reverse some of those grappling exchanges and maybe get on top, but it's not going to bode well for him because Islam would get out of those and actually end up probably becoming on top anyway.
Of course, I'm going to go with my brother Islam, I think.
Yeah. Blood brother or what?
Blood brother.
Oh, yeah.
Blood brother.
Really? Yeah, you wish. Yeah, this is going to be interesting. This is going to be definitely interesting. You know, I think, like I said, we are going to be surprised, you know, in terms of this fight. All right, well, first round, second round, third round. If I would give not necessarily a prediction, but my take on it and how it would go, I got two ways that it could go, I believe. Okay. I think it might go the distance with Islam actually outstriking him, potentially winning every round. And I don't think it's going to be a split decision. I believe it's going to be a unanimous decision if it goes all 5 rounds. But potentially we could see a knockout because I believe in Islam striking.
What do you think? If Islam wins, Islam, inshallah, go.
Well, let's think about it. Islam wins, potentially lightweight GOAT, potentially. But I don't think when it comes to like lightweight GOAT, I feel like it's the feeling that you get. You know, for example, Habib had like a short run, but just people felt like he was the GOAT and he was, you know, not just the lightweight GOAT, but the GOAT. And
short
he
and sweet.
is short and sweet. His reign was just short and sweet, just wanting, you know, just more. Like you want to see more from Habib.
I feel like there was a character arc to his run. You had the pinnacle, the climax with Conor, and then you had the resolutions, Dustin Poirier, Gaethje fights, and then the Gaethje fight, just a sweet ending.
Yeah.
Doing Sajda, crying on the mat.
Yeah, that was incredible. I imagine you watching that fight. You're watching the Habib fight and the Justin, his last fight. And then your stream cuts out all of a minute. Then you just see Habib just on the ground crying. It's like, oh my gosh, what just happened? Yeah, that would be terrible. Yeah, I think in terms of the GOAT conversation, I believe that Islam is going to need a few more fights. Maybe one more fight after Armin, if he beats him, inshallah.
Inshallah. I think already lightweight GOAT.
Really?
Already, even before this fight. Level of competition. Another thing, the fights have been legendary. Even if you have exciting fights, that lends to being known as the GOAT, just because of the popularity factor and the good fight factor, versus someone maybe who's had boring championship fights and they have maybe 8 and they're still not considered a GOAT.
I do agree with that, but I still hold to the position that he might potentially need one more fight. Not necessarily going up to maybe 170, which I don't think is going to have him because of the Bilal factor, and I want Bilal 2-2. I just don't know who he would fight, you know, after this fight, inshallah, if he wins, right?
His coach, in a tweet or an interview, his coach Javier Mendez said that he could see Islam going up to 185.
Oh, that would be interesting. That would be incredible if he does and he actually becomes a champion over there. That would be GOAT level, 100%. That would be GOAT.
Or jumped 2 divisions and became champion.
What are you talking about? Conor did.
He never was a champion.
He's
fought in 3 weight classes.
Yeah. You look at
Pereira could do it now.
Pereira could do it now, I think.
But it's besides the point.
Yeah, that's besides the point. All right, so you got definitely Islam.
Yeah,
100% Islam.
Both Islam, inshallah.
The whole thing, 5 rounds, submission. What do you got?
Islam catches him, I think, with a submission. maybe a second or third
Yeah.
round. If I had to just put a guess out there.
Yeah, I got it. Either 5 rounds, unanimous decision, or knockout. That's what I want to see because that's what gets me excited. To see like, hey, this guy is a grappler, but he knocks people out too.
Yeah.
That's what I want to see from. Because how exciting was it for when he did it to Volk, and Volk, I'm a fan of Volk. Volk is a beast, man. He's got my respect. May Allah guide him to Islam, inshallah. Because that's what we want. We want hidayah for all these guys that we say, oh, they're great. But at the end of the day, it's all about being guided to Islam.
Yeah.
That's what we want from all the fighters. All the people who claim to be like, good and they do good stuff, but we want everybody to be guided to Islam, inshallah.
May Allah guide them.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So all right. Omar, Murab.
What's their last name?
I can't say Murab's last name.
Murab, the Walish,
Oh,
the Walish Willie.
dude, if Murab heard you say that,
He'd say, "How do you know? You from my country?"
what are you talking
You're
about,
native to
Murab Dualish Willie?
The VA is a W, right?
I don't know what it is, but that sounds
Georgian.
Murab Dualish Willie.
The Walish Willie. Omar Nurmagomedov.
Okay, well, imagine Bruce Buffer goes out and he says, Murab, Dualish, Willie. I think we're going to have to look at it again. I can be mistaken. It just sounds funny when you say it.
I think the first V is pronounced and the second V may be a W.
Okay.
Russian script, I think Russian script is a W.
Yeah.
For sure.
Murab, Dualish, Willie. All right, Murab. Okay, what about Habib? Somebody told me, not Habib, I mean the Nurmagomedov. Somebody told me how to pronounce it. Do you got any ideas about that?
It turns out that the name can be split into 3, the prefix, kind of like the middle part, and the end. So you have Nur, which is a separate, it's like a prefix.
Yeah. So Nur means light.
Yeah, it comes from Arabic, means light.
Yeah.
Nur. It could also mean fire, but I think in this case it means light, and like a good light. And then the next part is a common Russian name, Magomed. This is literal translation, Muhammad.
Really?
Yeah, Muhammad.
Okay.
And then I guess you have the last part of the name, Ov, Av.
Okay.
Av means, so if you translate the whole name, Medov. The light of Muhammad, son of. Or you could put it at the front, son of the light of Muhammad.
Yeah, somebody did explain something similar to that. I forgot, but that's really interesting. So to recap, it's like Nur Muhammad Av.
Yeah.
So Nur Muhammad.
I guess when you think of the Arabic names, the son of Khattab.
Yeah, exactly.
Same type of deal.
So like another example is maybe Nur Yazdinki, right? Yubi.
There you go.
Whoa, I had no idea. I'm dumbfounded right now. Like I just discovered something new.
Yeah.
So Nur.
Yeah. And then you'll see so many fighters with just Magomed.
Yeah. So guys, think about that. So when you hear the names Nurmagomedov, just say it in your mind, Nur Muhammadov. Nur Muhammadov. But should we get clarification from them? Maybe we'll send them a message and say, hey, is this accurate or not? Yeah, I have no idea.
They can fact check us and you know more about this. Yeah, go ahead and just put it down in the comments, what it really means.
Yeah.
A clarification.
Yeah, I would say put it down in the comments. Let us know what you think. Let us know what your thoughts maybe you have. Well, anybody from Dagestan or Chechnya, I'm not sure if the same language. Anybody from that area, guys, clarify this. We'd be so interested to actually get this clarification. And once we clarify it 100%, we'll put it on our next video. All right, so look, come
Oh, Omar. Yeah, that's, for me, this is an even tougher fight than the main event. Especially for Omar. Especially on the side of Omar, our Muslim brother. Gonna be tough. Murab is a cardio machine. He's it doesn't seem like there's like a wane in his energy or in his output. It's just constant high output. Yeah. Have you seen him fight?
Yeah, I've seen him fight several times, actually, naturally on TV. And like you said, it's true. He's a grappling machine. He's a cardio machine. He could last those long distances. What I've seen is his striking might not be up to par as Omar's striking. This is definitely an interesting fight.
Yeah.
Okay, one thing about this fight is that it seems like Murab is a little bit, I don't want to say the word scared because I don't think any fighter is scared of another fighter, but maybe, what is the word? Anxious.
Anxious.
I believe the right word is.
I think he's tentative. He just got the title back in November, I believe. And I heard through some interviews that he may have wanted
No,
to
was it
have a longer.
November?
Was it September?
I think it was earlier than that. Much earlier than that, I believe.
It was either November or September. But either way, I heard he wanted to maybe stay until March, maybe have a little bit of time off with the belt, go on his victory tour, go back to his country, do some media, keep the belt as long as possible after you win it, which any fighter would want to do. You know?
Yeah, I think that's interesting that they did that to him. I think it's the name factor because if Sean O'Malley actually won and it wasn't Murab, naturally Omar would be next. 100%.
Yeah.
Fans, everybody knows Omar has earned his spot. I don't care what anybody says about skipping, about the name. I don't think the name had anything to do with it. It's just, he beat Sandhagen. Who else did he beat?
That's the thing. Yeah, nobody wanted to fight him.
Because they
Nobody
know the
wanted to fight
reality,
him. They know this guy is a high-level guy.
Yeah.
And Omar, he is high-level guy. And he's still got a lot of ways to go. He's only going to get better.
His kicks and the way he moves is just absolutely incredible.
Who can stand with Sandhagen? Who? Like, I think Peter Yan and Sandhagen fought. And arguably, I think Sandhagen was the arguable victor of that. So Sandhagen's striking is just very up there. And Omar, he did very well in the striking with
Sandhagen. Yeah, that was an interesting fight, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is really. It wasn't like close, Hold on, wait. It wasn't close, but it was a very competitive fight. But I'm glad that Omar got it, and I think that just leveled him up even more. During that fight. I would like to say this because we were talking about it a little bit earlier about like nervousness and everything like that. And I think this is a prime example where we see one fighter, who is the champion right now, which is Murab. It seems like that he's a little bit nervous and anxious, but we've seen these fighters that look in the press conferences that look nervous and anxious and they come to the fight time, they actually do really well. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, maybe some anxiety or something. And I'm sure Omar is nervous. It's first title shot for Omar. Yeah. He's going to be nervous too. It's all about, when you get in the cage, can you flow? Can you block it off? Can you think straight? And Murab's a professional.
Yeah. I think if I were to actually look at this fight and give my take on it, a lot of grappling exchanges. I'm not sure 100% how it could actually go. I believe it's going to go a unanimous decision for Omar. I don't think that we're going to see a knockout or a submission. Well, first of all, I don't think Murab has really any submission threats, right?
Yeah, I mean, every fight of his is just constant takedown, pressure, takedown. Yeah, rather than fights that have ended by submission, even submission attempts, he doesn't have that many of.
This is going to be interesting. Ooh, but I'm super excited about these two fights, Lightweight, bantamweight, Murab, Omar, Islam, Armin. Super excited, super nervous. Let's see who else is on the card. We got Jiri Prochazka for Jamal Hill.
Yeah, this is a very good card. This is stacked to the rim. Usually you'll have your third or fourth fight. Well, you'll start to see kind of a drop in stakes, I guess. But here, all of these are potential contender fights. Jiri Prochazka. The next fight over is Beneil Dariush and Renato Moicano. And
Kevin Holland.
Yeah.
I love Kevin Holland. People want to hate on him, but Kevin Holland, may Allah guide him to Islam. Yeah, I just find him entertaining, And I think he's actually trying to do better and trying to be better in the grappling and the wrestling and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And that says a lot about him, that he knows his weaknesses and he's actually trying to do better. I find him really entertaining.
Do you know about Rainier de Ridder? This is his debut fight coming from another organization. He did very well in that organization, and there's a lot of hype about how this guy does when he gets into the UFC. And this is a good first fight for him, too.
Striker, grappler, what is he? Got you. Yeah, this is going to be interesting. But I think UFC level is UFC level, but we'll have to see. Kevin Holland is pretty good. But you know who else we got on the card? Beneil Dariush.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was Beneil Dariush's last fight?
It's been a while since he fought.
Right?
It's been a while since he fought.
Wasn't it Armin?
I believe it might have been Armin.
Oh, no. It was Oliveira.
It was Oliveira.
Yeah.
It was Oliveira.
Got you.
And he got beat both times.
Yeah.
Oliveira, of course, and then Armin, he actually KO'd him in the first round.
Oh, wow.
It says a lot, about Armin. When you're at that level, anybody can put together a good combination, a good knockout, maybe find it's the right timing and put together something that's really damaging.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking at the rest of this card, and anything here that interests you and it's like is interesting. I know Islam's teammate, I'm not sure, Tiger Bekov. His first fight in the early prelims.
Yeah, that's the first fight in the early prelims. So in 2024, he was scheduled to fight Joshua Van.
Okay.
And recently, he should have took that fight. Well, I don't know what happened, why it was canceled, but Joshua Van's been on a streak.
Yeah.
Multiple exciting fights. He fought on UFC, I believe 303, the big one in the sphere, and he's gained a lot of popularity. Other than that, I see a couple of other fights. Looks like maybe 3 or 4 in the UFC. And this guy might get him closer to being ranked.
Who the Clayton Carpenter?
Yeah, that's who he's fighting.
Yeah, he's 8-0. I'm looking at here 8-0, and then Tigger is 15-2. Well, inshallah, they get it done. You know, all of them. Any other Muslims on the card, inshallah, every single one of them gets it done. You know, and just raise our heads. You know, you know. So I just want them to raise our heads, inshallah. Yeah.
Like whenever a Muslim brother wins, and there's an element of feeling proud.
Yeah, I agree with that.
There's an element of feeling like proud of them.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you think for Muslims in the UFC, are they held to a higher expectation, or maybe do they have more competitive matchups, or maybe they're just held to a certain expectation of how good they are?
Well, I guess they, in terms of the Dagestanis and the Chechnya, in those areas, yes, you would expect them to be actually like Habib or Islam. I think people hold them to a higher expectation, thinking that they're just gonna run through people.
Yeah.
Because of Habib, technically because of Habib, and then Islam is doing it too. But in terms of like Islam and as Muslims, I mean, think about it. There's Muslim boxers. There's Muslim MMA guys. There's a lot. There's a lot of Muslims in combat sports.
Yeah.
Judo. There's a humongous amount of Muslims in judo and the competitions.
Yeah.
It's even all combat sports. There's a lot of Muslims. So in terms of athleticism, Muslims are always there.
Yeah.
Some of the most popular Muslims, the strongest fighters, are Muslims. We could look at in boxing, we could look at MMA, whatever,
So maybe across all sports, or maybe just a combination of the region and religion. The 2 R's, region, religion. Dagestani Muslim.
That's a good point.
Or it could be a sport-wide thing, where if you see a Muslim at the high level of the sport, then maybe you can assume that, hey, this guy is dedicated to the sport. This guy's taking his training seriously. This guy's disciplined. Maybe you assume a certain level of discipline.
Yeah. Well, we could think about that. All right. First of all, it's in sports and anything really. If you're going to school and your university, you need to be disciplined. So in terms of sports, you're going to be disciplined. So naturally, you can't go out to the bar. You can't drink. You can't go do some certain things. You got to wake up to pray your Fajr Salah. And that just opens you up to success with your workout, with your schoolwork, with your job, whatever it is. So when it comes to these aspects, you're praying on time. That requires discipline. And subhanAllah, any time that you pray, it's incredible. You just have this clarity of mind, and it's like, oh, okay, this is not so bad. I just did my Dhuhr Salah. I got to go do this stressful task that I'm about to do. And it just seems clear after you do that. So that's interesting in terms of that aspect. Muslims are held to a higher standard, not by Muslims themselves, but also by the non-Muslims too. Because they think, oh, you're a Muslim, you're not supposed to drink. Oh, you're a Muslim, you're not going to go out clubbing or doing whatever you need to do or whatever it is, or putting bad stuff in your body. You're disciplined. So automatically, Muslim means discipline. Muslim means success. And this is what we got to get through our head as Muslims, is that Muslims need to actually strive and do better and try to be successful in sports, in religion, in business, all these aspects, in medicine, in science. It is Islam that gives us this drive and this discipline to do better. So when it comes to the sport athletes, 100%, 100%. It's all because of Islam, All right, one thing I'd like to ask, okay, these fights, they win. Omar wins. Islam wins. Okay, what does it do for them?
I mean, Islam, I think we've talked about already about how it affects the GOAT conversation if Islam wins. Also, whether Islam wins or not, we're looking at him maybe moving up, going for welterweight or middleweight.
Yeah.
For Omar, the possibilities are endless. This is a big thing for Omar specifically.
Yeah, I think not so much for Islam, because Islam, everybody knows that he's just a beast and people expect him to win. I think, inshallah, he will win. But in terms of Omar, you know, he wins is going to make him. Teddy Atlas said, I believe, that when you become the champion, you become 30% better. 30% is a lot. So if Omar wins, he's just going to get better. And then the possibilities are endless. I think Omar is going to become a big name.
Open up the door to him being discovered a lot more. You know, he wins, his name's going to be out there a lot more at the UFC. He's going to gain a lot of followers. He's going to gain a lot of recognition.
Yeah. Well, we see that with Islam, right? We see that, like, all right, Islam is the champion. He's been a champion for a while now. And we see him. He gets on these podcasts. He gets on these shows. You know, so people are actually paying attention to Islam a lot. Even though when he first started out, you know, the English factor and all that stuff. But alhamdulillah, you know, his English has got better.
Yeah.
People are actually looking at him across the world, and especially in America too. Everybody knows Islam's name, you know. Maybe not the face yet, except UFC or MMA fans, but in general, people will know the name.
That's right. Speaking of knowing the name, remembering the name, when Bilal Muhammad, he's the welterweight champion currently,
Yeah.
Another Muslim brother, when he won the belt, I think the video where Dana White wrapped the belt around his waist is now one of the most viewed videos on the UFC YouTube channel.
Yeah.
So getting that championship really elevates you in terms of popularity, recognition,
Really?
just like for Bilal Muhammad.
Yeah, alhamdulillah. Bilal is awesome. I love Bilal. You know, Bilal is the man. You know, I hope he keeps his title, keeps defending it, you know, potentially retires undefeated, inshallah, you know,
Inshallah.
because he's a good ambassador for Islam too.
Yeah.
You know, because he's actually trained with Habib and he's been with Habib, and Habib just rubs off on people, it seems like, you know.
It does seem like it. It does seem like it.
Yeah, how many people have become Muslim because of Habib, because they see Habib?
SubhanAllah.
Yeah.
You know, who knows? Who knows? I guess this is a message to everyone, you know. Your actions do affect other people's
Perceptions.
do affect other people's perceptions.
Yeah.
Specifically non-Muslims of Islam. How many people saw the discipline of the team from there, the steadfastness of the team from there, and maybe investigated Islam from that team?
Yeah, I agree 100%. So definitely actions speak louder than words. Guys, actions speak louder than words. We got to be good ambassadors for Muslims, for Islam. Da'wah is in your actions, you know, how you carry yourself. Actually, them seeing you pray and putting everything to the side and going to do your salah, you know, that speaks a lot, because that leaves the imprint in their minds. You know, of people like Muslims are so disciplined. Why are they so disciplined? How many non-Muslims, became Muslims because of the Muslims in Palestine? How many? So many. We see so many videos because of their steadfastness, mashallah. You know,
SubhanAllah.
inshallah, they will see those deeds of the countless salahs and siyams of the people that became Muslim because of them. They don't know about it. They will see that, inshallah, on the day of judgment.
Inshallah. Inshallah. Allah
know?
grant it sadaqah jariyah for them.
Yeah. So it's going to be a great card.
Yeah, tune in. Tune
Yeah.
in. This is not one to miss.
Yeah. Super excited, guys. Yep.
This is not one you want to miss.
Yeah, there's no way. We're not missing this, you know? And alhamdulillah, we are in America, so we are in the time zone, but it kind of does, you know, it's unfortunate for people in other time zones that actually can't, you know, watch it. Maybe it's early in the morning or the afternoon, they got to work.
Yeah.
And it's actually so much better to watch it live, stream it live and stuff like that. So it's so much better.
Yeah, I agree. There's no better way to watch it other than live.
Yeah.
I guess if you're new to the sport and you do want to watch it, you can go on ESPN. If you're in other countries, I believe your regular sports channels might play it. And yeah, if you're new to the sport, this is a good one to tune in.
Yeah, super excited about this. Let's watch it. Let's see what happens. Let's root for our boys. Inshallah, they get it done.
Inshallah.
All right, so we're about 36 minutes in. Any closing statements?
These fights have a lot of stakes. They're going to have lasting impacts on the climate of the UFC.
I believe so. That's actually a good point. You know, these two fights, Islam and Omar, especially Omar, if he wins, I believe that's going to open up the 145 division for other Muslim athletes, specifically from Dagestan.
Yeah.
You know, alhamdulillah, we got 170. Inshallah, soon. We got, what's the name of 205? Ankalaev. Ankalaev soon, inshallah. He's going to be holding that belt. And you never know if there's any heavyweights. Why not?
Why not?
Come on, let's do it, guys. You know? So, jazakumullah al khair. Thank you for tuning in. Do not forget, please, we need you guys. Like, subscribe, view, share. We're a new podcast. We're trying to give content that is in demand. So that's what we're doing. If you guys got any feedback, any suggestions, let us know. Hey, shoot us an email, muslimath@gmail.com. Leave us something in a comment. We'd really appreciate that. What we could do better. If there's any certain topics you guys want us to discuss, yeah, why not? We'll discuss it. Or any special guests. We plan on having so many guests on this show. We'll talk about health. We'll talk about fitness, maybe working out, mindset, well-being. And we want to bring experts on that are experts in these fields. You know, so we're just not talking just with no evidence or with no basis. We want to actually discuss health and fitness with somebody that does health and fitness. We want to talk about neuroscience with somebody that is in the field, you know, with a Muslim focus to it. So yeah, for sure.
Assalamualaikum.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.